Let's get straight to the most important news for every senior, retiree, and Social Security recipient across the United States. A shocking new law has just been approved that will once again change the official Social Security payment dates in 2025. This means that millions of people who depend on their monthly checks in whether from Social Security retirement, SSI, or SSDI will soon need to adjust their expectations and check their bank accounts on new dates. The government has cited reasons connected to federal budget adjustments, system updates, and new scheduling priorities. For many seniors, this change is both confusing and worrying because payment timing is not just about convenience, it's about survival. Every month, millions of Americans carefully plan their bills, medication refills, rent, and groceries based on when their Social Security money arrives. A delay or shift of even a few days can throw an entire household into financial stress. That's why this law has drawn so much attention and why we're here to explain exactly what's happening, what it means for you, and how you can prepare for the coming transition. To begin with, the Social Security Administration, SSA, has confirmed that these changes are part of a larger modernization plan meant to improve efficiency and reduce errors in payment distribution. The SSA's current system divides payments based on a recipient's date of birth, the second, third, and fourth Wednesdays of each month. This system has worked for years, but there have been persistent issues, delays during federal holidays, banking errors, and occasional confusion for those receiving multiple benefits. According to officials, the new law aims to fix these long-standing problems and bring a more predictable structure to future payments. But here's where it gets tricky. While the SSA insists that this adjustment will be beneficial in the long run, many seniors will need to go through an uncomfortable transition period before things settle. The payment schedule will be restructured gradually across several months. Some beneficiaries, particularly those who receive both SSI and SSDI, may see their payments arrive earlier than usual, while others may experience a gap before their next deposit under the new system. This is why it's important to pay attention to any letters, notices, or updates sent by the Social Security Administration in the coming weeks. According to initial outlines, the new schedule is being designed to better align with banking regulations and to avoid federal holidays that have historically disrupted deposit timelines. For instance, in December and January, payments often face delays because of Christmas and New Year's holidays. With the updated structure, the SSA intends to guarantee that no one misses a payment due to holiday closures. The law requires coordination between the Treasury Department, the Federal Reserve, and commercial banks, ensuring that funds are released without interruption. Now, beyond payment timing, this new law also brings changes to how payments are processed. The government wants to encourage more people to use direct deposit and phase out paper checks entirely by the end of 2026. The SSA reports that over 99% of beneficiaries already receive their payments through electronic transfer, but there is still a small group, often older seniors in rural areas, who rely on physical checks. These individuals will be given extra support to transition into electronic systems. Let's also talk about how this change connects to the broader financial environment. The Social Security system is under immense strain. Inflation has pushed prices higher, cost of living adjustments, COLAs, have increased monthly benefits, and more retirees are drawing from the program than ever before. These factors have added pressure on the Social Security trust funds, which face long-term challenges in sustainability. The payment schedule change is part of a broader reform effort designed to improve financial management, strengthen record-keeping, and create smoother monthly disbursements. Another key reason for the new law involves government technology upgrades. The SSA is modernizing its digital infrastructure to make sure benefits are calculated and distributed faster and more accurately. The current systems, some of which date back decades, are being replaced with cloud-based databases and advanced fraud detection tools. This modernization has required temporary payment testing, leading to slight shifts in deposit timing during the rollout phase. But let's address what most seniors are really asking. Will this affect the amount of your Social Security payment? The answer is no, at least not directly. The benefit amounts remain exactly the same as before. The only change is the date when the payment will arrive. However, since these deposits are critical for budgeting and bill payments, the shift in timing can feel just as impactful as a financial change. That's why officials are urging beneficiaries to review their automatic payments, rent due dates, and recurring withdrawals to make sure they won't be hit with unexpected late fees or overdraft charges during the transition month. So, what does the new structure look like in practice? Under the revised schedule, the SSA will group recipients into slightly different categories. Individuals born on the 1st through the 10th of a month will still receive their payments early in the cycle. However, those in the middle range, typically the 11th through the 20th, will see their payment dates shift slightly closer to the month's end. The goal is to balance the distribution more evenly across the banking system and avoid high-volume transaction days that can cause slowdowns. SSI beneficiaries, who usually receive their payments on the first of each month, will experience some of the most noticeable adjustments. When the first falls on a weekend or holiday, those payments are traditionally issued a day or two earlier. Under the new plan, the SSA intends to use a more flexible system that can deposit payments in advance without causing duplication or confusion. For example, instead of moving all payments to the prior Friday, the SSA will set automatic release windows that depend on each person's specific deposit method. This should prevent the kind of overlapping payments that have sometimes caused errors in the past. Another point worth noting is that veterans receiving VA benefits, as well as individuals on both VA and Social Security, might see different coordination rules under this new structure. The VA and SSA are working together to ensure their schedules don't clash, which has been a problem for dual beneficiaries. The government wants to make sure no one receives overlapping deposits that could trigger temporary account holds or mistaken benefit suspensions. This law also comes with new communication protocols. Beneficiaries will receive official SSA notices explaining when their specific payment date will change and what month the adjustment will take effect. These letters are legally required under the Social Security Act amendments that accompany this new scheduling law. Recipients are advised to carefully read these notices and keep them in a safe place, as they include unique reference numbers that banks may use to verify payments. For many retirees, these changes might feel overwhelming. You've been receiving your checks on the same day for years, sometimes even decades, and now you're told to adapt again. But officials emphasize that this update is meant to create a smoother long-term experience, reducing uncertainty around holidays and banking errors. Once the transition is complete, every month's deposit should arrive more predictably, giving seniors more control over their financial planning. However, financial advisors are urging seniors not to rely solely on one income stream during the transition period. If you have savings, consider setting aside a small emergency cushion for any unexpected delay that may occur during the first or second month of implementation. It's better to be prepared in case the system experiences a temporary hiccup while adjusting to the new rules. As we continue with this important update, let's talk about what this new law really means for you in practical, day-to-day terms. The most important takeaway is that you will still receive your benefits. No one is losing eligibility, and the Social Security Administration has made it clear that the goal is not to take money away from anyone. What is changing is the structure and timing of how that money arrives in your account. And because timing is everything when it comes to managing bills, rent, and medication, seniors across the country are being encouraged to double-check their bank deposits in the first few months of 2025. The government is expected to roll out the new payment schedule in stages rather than all at once. This means some groups of beneficiaries will see the change earlier than others. People who receive Supplemental Security Income, or SSI, will likely be among the first to experience the new system, followed by Social Security retirement recipients, and finally those on disability insurance, known as SSDI. The purpose of this gradual rollout is to monitor how banks handle the new schedule and ensure that no one is left waiting for their payment because of technical problems. During the adjustment period, the SSA will also send reminders through the mail and through its automated phone system to keep beneficiaries informed. Seniors who have set up My Social Security online accounts will see alerts showing their upcoming payment date. If you have access to a smartphone or computer, it's a good idea to log in regularly during this time to verify your deposit schedule. For those who prefer paper notices, the SSA will continue mailing letters with updated payment information. Financial experts say that this change may actually offer a small advantage once it's fully implemented. Since payments will be spread out more evenly across the month, banks and credit unions won't experience the same heavy transaction load that used to happen on certain Wednesdays. This means direct deposits could clear faster, and there will be fewer processing delays caused by system congestion. In simple terms, that means you might see your money hit your account earlier in the day or with fewer errors. However, for people who depend on precise budgeting, and especially seniors paying rent or utilities on fixed dates, even a small shift in deposit timing can be stressful. That's why financial counselors recommend marking down the new expected payment day on a calendar and adjusting your bill payment schedule accordingly. For example, if your Social Security deposit used to arrive on the third Wednesday of every month but now arrives on the fourth, you might need to contact your landlord or utility company to make sure automatic payments align with your new deposit date. Another aspect of this new law is its connection to broader financial relief programs. The government's modernization plan isn't only about changing payment dates, it's also designed to synchronize all federal benefits, including those from the Veterans Administration, the Railroad Retirement Board, and even some state-level assistance programs. The idea is to prevent overlap and create a unified schedule that reduces fraud and administrative errors. This change may also open the door for future stimulus payments or emergency relief programs to be distributed more efficiently. In the past, delays in stimulus deposits happened because different agencies used separate systems and schedules. With the new unified structure, it will be much easier for the government to send out one-time payments or cost of living bonuses without confusion. That's why analysts are calling this change a foundational step toward a more modern Social Security infrastructure. There's also a human side to this story. Many seniors have expressed concern about how this adjustment will affect their daily lives, especially those who rely entirely on their monthly benefit. The SSA has responded by promising extra customer service support, including extended phone hours during the first few weeks of the rollout. If you notice your payment hasn't arrived on the expected date, you'll be able to contact the SSA and get help more quickly than before. They are also coordinating with local field offices to assist anyone who needs help understanding the new payment calendar. Another positive note is that this law brings added protection against payment theft and fraud. One reason for the timing shift is to tighten the link between deposit timing and identity verification. The SSA is introducing new safeguards that make it harder for scammers to intercept or redirect payments. These updates include stronger security checks and real-time account tracking. Seniors who have ever experienced suspicious activity on their benefit payments will likely welcome this improvement. Now, while all of this may sound complicated, it's important to remember that this is not the first time the government has made a major change to Social Security payment timing. Each time, it takes a few months for the system to stabilize, but once it does, most beneficiaries report that the process becomes easier to manage. In the long run, the new schedule could make your financial planning more predictable because the SSA is aiming for a fixed pattern that remains consistent for years to come. One detail that deserves special attention involves those receiving both SSI and SSDI, often called dual beneficiaries. In the old system, these recipients sometimes received their SSI payment at the beginning of the month and their SSDI payment in the middle. Under the new law, these two payments will be better coordinated, possibly landing within the same week. For some, that will be a welcome change because it consolidates their monthly income. For others, it may require a short waiting period between 1 month's deposit and the next. Either way, it's important to plan ahead so that no bills go unpaid during that adjustment. We should also acknowledge that these changes come at a time when many seniors are already struggling with higher costs for groceries, rent, utilities, and medical care. The cost of living adjustment for 2025, while helpful, hasn't fully kept pace with inflation in many areas. That's why it's so crucial to stay organized and know exactly when your benefits will arrive. Even a few days of uncertainty can cause real financial pressure. The SSA is encouraging all beneficiaries to keep their contact information updated so they don't miss any important notices about upcoming deposits. Experts are suggesting that seniors use this opportunity to review their overall financial situation. Make sure you know where every dollar goes each month, and if possible, set aside a small emergency reserve. Having even a little extra saved can make a big difference if your payment is delayed during the transition period. If you're someone who depends on automatic deductions, for example, for insurance premiums or credit card payments, check those dates carefully and adjust them to match the new deposit schedule. In the bigger picture, this new law reflects how the Social Security system is evolving to meet modern needs. It's not just about the timing of payments, it's about building a stronger, more secure foundation for future generations. The government recognizes that as technology improves and the number of beneficiaries continues to grow, the old system needs upgrading. These reforms are part of that modernization journey. In conclusion, while the phrase "shocking new law" might sound dramatic, the truth is that these payment date changes are meant to make the system more reliable and efficient. The transition may cause a bit of confusion at first, but once the dust settles, beneficiaries should experience smoother, faster, and more predictable payments. Seniors should stay alert for official notices, verify their deposit schedules, and adjust their budgets accordingly. This is not a time to panic, but it is a time to prepare. The best way to handle this change is by staying informed, organized, and proactive. Don't ignore any letters from the Social Security Administration. Read them carefully and share the information with friends or family members who might also be affected. And finally, remember this. The Social Security system exists to protect and support the people who built this country through decades of hard work. Even though the government is changing how and when those payments arrive, the commitment to retirees and disabled Americans remains strong. You earned these benefits, and no matter how the dates move around, that right doesn't disappear. The key is to stay informed, patient, and ready for the new chapter in 2025. For everyone listening today, take a moment to think about what we've covered. You now know that a new law is changing Social Security payment dates again, that the change will happen gradually, that your benefit amounts will remain the same, and that the government's goal is to make payments faster, safer, and more predictable. Change can be stressful, but with knowledge and preparation, you can handle it with confidence. So as we wrap up, keep this in mind. Your Social Security benefits are still your foundation, your monthly lifeline, and your right. Stay watchful, stay prepared, and most importantly, stay calm as the new payment schedule begins. You've faced bigger challenges before, and just like those times, you'll get through this one too.